Zone of Interest is like another A24 banger, you know, that like that needed to come in at the right time. Like it needed to like come in, you know. It's just like a dope ass like experimental movie, you know, that like wouldn't like, and it's like it's cool. It's getting like the attention that it deserves, you know.
Yeah, Zone of Interest, definitely.
It got like 6 Oscar nominations, and everyone's jizzing over it like crazy.
Yeah, this is a movie that people have been jizzing over for the whole year. Do people have been jizzing over it like a lot?
No, not the whole year, but like, I mean,
some people.
Well, no, there's some people in the Kino community that were really going like.
No, it's true.
Like,
I mean, since Cannes, dude, like I was excited about it, and I was excited about Anatomy of the Fall.
Well, that won the Palme d'Or, right? Anatomy, so
yeah, Anatomy won Palme d'Or, but like
automatically, like
I was like so pumped for it, and then I saw Anatomy of the Fall and I was like, I kind of want to check out Zone of Interest now. I didn't like Anatomy of the Fall is really good, but I knew like, okay, Zone of Interest like has something special.
We were all secretly waiting in the Kino community for the
Would you guys
get glazed?
Would you guys say that the Zone of Interest is a masterpiece?
I do personally.
Yeah, you think it's a masterpiece?
I don't think it's as experimental as you think it is, though. I think it is.
I'm saying for like what's getting released and getting attention.
Yeah.
For a mainstream release, it's
very like for like it's very. I feel
in
like
this day and age of Hollywood, it's very experimental for sure.
It's disrupting like the narrative system, I would say, because it's like a kind of like a music video with like a light like plot, but like the plot still like.
Yeah. Were you born a masterpiece for this?
No, I like it.
You're on the right side of history.
Yeah, it better not be born a masterpiece. I swear to God, dude.
No, like, could I show it to like my brother and like my parents? Like, no, like not right now at least. But yeah, I just think it's a very like just someone who shoots music videos and stuff. It just looks like really like amazing, like.
Yeah, dude, the natural lighting and like the fucking it looks very, very. I was saying like it looks like very artificial. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like with the camera they're using, like the Sony's, like it looks like so like what's it called? Like just sharp. You know what I mean? The image quality, and it's kind of weird because it's jarring because it's supposed to be a period piece. You know?
Yeah.
That's something that really was like, whoa.
But it's definitely very experimental though. Like the intro and then the like part where it just like goes to red. Like it just goes to red and like the inverted black and white. Yeah. You know? Like the inverted black and white, I was like, whoa. Like and you can tell that it's at least like twice the frame rate because it's just like it looks like more
the zone of interest, I agree. I mean just from a structural standpoint is very experimental. In the case of just the framework of the movie, because like you're not, like you said, there's no plot. It's really just a snapshot, almost like pseudo-documentary of this family's life. The fact that you also don't really see carnage happen, like it's on the periphery of everything, which I don't know if everyone knows who hasn't seen the movie, because like the trailers and the marketing don't really give away what this movie invokes, because it's such like a feeling-oriented movie. Like it hits you like deep in the gut, and it's to me. I mean, I'm on the side that, like Jack was saying, it's a masterpiece because I think it's one of the most like viscerally disgusting and just horrifying movie in the implication of it, you know, and like what it means in the history of, you know, the world and Hitler and all that good stuff.
Yeah, so it's like that subtle like dread.
Yeah, like, I've never seen like a movie that depicts genocide and Holocaust in this way. You know, it's never like directly addressed. Yeah. But you're learning about just like the horrors of what's happening without ever actually seeing it on screen. And all you're really seeing is this like pleasant lifestyle that this family has. And I don't know about you guys, but the longer the movie went on, the more and more like I just despise them and like despise like the parents and stuff. And it's just like so gross and disgusting. And I've never had a movie where I was like, oh, fuck. They're just going through like a normal life. They're profiting off of all these tragedies. And it's just so fucked up. I'm like, oh, what am I profiting off of? Like I was like, I left the theater feeling like, oh shit, like this is something that like I haven't really thought about fully.
You can project a lot of feelings of like being complacent for really horrific shit in the world just onto this movie. It's like an empty canvas, as pretentious as that sounds. This kind of subtle guilt that this movie invokes on you because you're in the POV of like a Nazi family and like Sandra Hüller who's also in Anatomy of a Fall. Like, what an incredible...
Yeah, what a fucking great
insane year, like, of any actress this year. She's like, killed it. Mm-hmm. She tries to kind of make it, to normalize their situation. She's just, like, showing her stepmom or her mom, like, their backyard. Mm-hmm. As you see, like, smoke and people screaming in the background and stuff.
It's she had like a very much like a look, mom, I made it kind of.
I know.
Attitude.
It's like showing your parents your first ever place, but it's like right next to a concentration camp, and like that's such a crazy.
That she like that her husband runs like fuck.
But it's really about like what you don't see. That's like that, and it's like almost playing with that. Like your imagination is going off, and then like you're just hearing all the noises. But it's like this very like. The sanctuary that they live in, like right next to it.
Yeah.
And those parts where the kid is like looking out the window and he's like, drown him in the river. Like you hear him, like you hear them like, drown him in the river and shit. And then I just felt like those scenes at night where like you could really hear it. You could really hear the factories and like the people screaming at night. I feel like
it's amplified for sure.
Yeah, definitely like in the night shit. And I do like the parts where the Nazi officers are talking about like the technical logistical aspects of the crematorium, and they talk about it like very like
it's matter of fact.
Yeah, it's very matter of fact, and they don't say like, oh, we're to burn the people. They're just like talking about it like an engine or something that
like mechanical, like it's almost like factory farming or something that they're talking about.
Yeah,
and you almost forget like these are like millions of human lives. They're just like
efficiently like how much can we burn efficiently? Like we have to figure out a way to like burn all of this as quick as like as we can. So we created this device that allows you to cool the ashes and burn at the same time.
Yeah. And then
which I was like, whoa, dude. I was like,
people were like viscerally like disgust in my theater during that scene. Just kind of like sighing, like I can't believe.
Yeah.
It's so normalized in there.
Yeah, man, and he becomes like the greatest, the best, like burn, like he's like the best.
Yeah. He's the best at like fucking running it, right?
He ascends high. Yeah, it's fucked up.
It's like crazy how it shifts from like this like to this family drama where it's like, oh, they're pulling us apart. They're pulling this family apart because you have to transfer to this like other place, and we're not going to leave our home. And it's like she's so like broken up about this and stubborn and like spoiled and entitled. And then you're like, meanwhile, it's just like, bro, you're fucking like ruining so many families. You're separating so many families just like on the other side of that wall and shit. And it's just like you're bickering about this like shit that it's just so meaninless, you know what I mean? Like compared to like what's going on, and like
that's when it gets more disgusting, is when their trivial ass problems in their lives become like the forefront of the narrative, and it almost makes you forget about the horrors that are over the wall and stuff. And it's like that's when the movie becomes like extra bleak to me.
Yeah, which is
when you're like actually, and like like the separate, and like from the children's point of view too, like he locks his brother into the glass case, like almost like he's making his own version of like the oven, the camps and the ovens and stuff, and it's like
and you never see the camps or the ovens until like they put them in the museum piece.
Yeah,
that's the genius stroke of this movie too.
Yeah,
because I think it's so many movies have depicted the Holocaust in a very like visceral, like grounded way. I mean, Schindler's List obviously, and like there's so many.
Oh, this one was like
this one's like a more intellectual take on it, which I appreciated.
It's very like objective where they're at. It's not like Schindler's List. This is like it's like a Spielberg movie, and there's like kind of that like corny melodramatic aspect to it.
It's dramatized versus this is like almost like an observational piece.
Yeah, exactly. But
it's like what are they using? What's the vehicle they're using to like tell the story, right?
Yeah.
I think it's so interesting that I think that's the genius of this movie. Like you said, like showing the concentration camps at the very end, like show like how this is like remembered, how this is like present, still in all our lives. I think the other thing is like he goes in with the expectations that like you have an understanding of the Holocaust, you have an understanding of this history, and then the more he slows down the story and like how mundane it gets, the more you're like intrigued by like what's going on, and the more like you feel more like emotional connection to this because you're like, dude, they're fucking like so slow, like they're so like mundane and so boring, and you're just like you just want something to happen. You want that little girl to like go and like and keep giving those apples out at night and stuff, you know? I think that's like really, really interesting way of telling the story.
Yeah, and it's like you can feel the dread without having to say like, hey, look how like sad this is with like music or like melodramatic acting, you know? Like I just think of the scene in Schindler's List where Liam Neeson is like, I could have given him the watch. I could have given him the car. Like, we like get it because it was like a really like fucked up period, and like in this movie you like definitely feel that like heavy, that weight, like even afterwards. Like I still like think about it. Like
the movie doesn't have to develop the groundwork of showing you the horrors of concentration camps. You already know. It's just that what's unique about it is just the perspective shift, you know, and living with the complacency and all that stuff, and just having, it's like stylistically like no period piece I've ever seen has ever been made like this, where it's like it's shot like improvisational at some points, I feel like.
Oh, it is,
and very just, there's like a distance between, like we were saying, like observational. It's like almost like a zoo that he's like kind of just observing and capturing of just some of the most despicable people you can imagine. So it's like, I think it's going to be timeless for a while, because like that, there's no, you can't really date it on being melodramatic like in Schindler's List, or it's just a piece of its own. And that's why I feel Glazer kind of just mastered it. He
made like a really like a European art film. Like a proper like historical European like art film, you know, like he directed a German like speaking movie. It's all in German the whole time. And then there's the part, I don't know if you guys remember when she's playing the piano and then it's like the subtitles for like the words like for the song. Do you guys remember that?
Sort of.
Not really, no.
The girl plays the piano and like there's like little subtitles of like what.
Oh no, but that's the song that the guy hit for her to find.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh right.
That's what she was playing. Yeah.
Yeah, but that was like a really interesting. That was so. It just goes like to different places, you know. And it takes like those like creative risks and like, visually, like with the flowers and like him giving that like making that call about the flowers and stuff. And but they were in the part where they're in the river and shit.
Oh my god, the part with the river was so. It's just so like. I don't know, because I think that's one of the earliest like scenes in the movie where you really feel like, oh fuck, he knows exactly what's going on, but he's still like sheltering them, and they're still trying to like go about life like nothing's wrong. You know what I mean? And it's like fucking, it's so creepy, and it's never addressed either. But,
no, it never is. And...
Is it one of your favorite movies this year?
Of the year, I'll say it's a top 10 for sure.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the best ones for sure.
I mean, like, objectively, I hate saying that, but it's like, if I were going to say the best movies of the year, it'd be like in the top 3. But on like a personal level, it's top 10, just mainly because I don't know how many times I'd revisit this movie. Only when I would want to feel...
Would you buy it if it came out?
I would, yeah. I mean, I'm a Jonathan Glazer. I'm just a big supporter of as well. I think he's a really special director, and this might be his best movie.
Yeah, I think it's his best that I've seen.
I'm a big Under the Skin fan. And I love
Under the Skin's great too.
Sexy Beast a lot.
I could see this being on the Criterion though.
It could be. I think just in general one of the most important and like boundary pushing movies that we've seen in a really, really long time.
Yeah.
Just in terms of the conceit of it and like how daring it is to tackle this subject matter in a really, really just subversive, and I don't know if people were offended by the depiction. I imagine some people would be, but like it's just a really daring movie, like overall, and I just commend the hell out of it. Would you put it in your top of the year?
Yeah, I think like now, like it's definitely one of the things that was great. Like, yeah, I definitely put top 10 for sure. Yeah.
I also say just see it in the theater if you can, because the audio design.
Yeah.
It's gonna win.
It's like the best audio design I've seen in years. And just the way it washes over you, like mentally, and what it means to this, just the whole psychological. Like undertaking this movie has over you. You know, it's just I can't recommend it enough. And you're right. It was. I mean, I know people that out of Cannes and like even before that, like were just heavily hyping this movie up. To being like the masterpiece of the year, and I would say it's one of them personally. So
personally, it's one of my favorites this year. I think I don't normally pay attention to sound, but the sound better be really fucking good in this movie, and that's why you should definitely see it in theaters, because the sound is amazing, and it is another character of the movie itself.
Yeah, when I saw it in the theater, I was sitting in like the directly in the center of the theater, right there.
Yeah.
And shit, and it was just like.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you see it in Dolby? Dolby surround sound.
I don't know if I saw it in Dolby, but it was like really interesting, like especially when it's just a black screen and it's like.
Yeah.
I mean, the kind of prelude is like it reminds you of a Kubrick movie because it has this interlude of music and everything.
And it's a perfect runtime too.
Yeah.
It's like an hour 40.
Yeah, it's a really good runtime.
I love that.
If it was this for like 2.5 hours, I would have been
off-putting. It's too off-putting.
Yeah, I would have said boring or masterpiece.
It's extremely lean and it gets like right to the point of what it's trying to say. It like doesn't have that many repeat beats in the storytelling and everything. So on that level, it's like perfectly structured.
Yeah. The zone of interest.